So the teaser trailer from the new Supergirl movie just dropped. Let's talk about it. We're finally getting a new Supergirl movie, and the last one that was made was in 1984, so I think we're a little due for one. Now, I say that there was a demand for it, but there hasn't really been fans calling out for, man, we really need another Supergirl movie since 1984. But we've always wanted to see the character done justice. Now, they did have a Supergirl series a few years ago that did actually pretty well and it connected to the Arrowverse. On TV, she's done pretty well. However, in the cinematic universe, she hasn't been that successful. In fact, the last time we saw her was in the Flash movie, which the movie itself didn't do well. Her character was mixed received. I myself wasn't a fan, but the performance-wise was okay. But now we're finally getting a full-fledged movie, and the teaser trailer just dropped. Now, right off the bat, I will say this movie is not directed by James Gunn, but you can tell it is run by James Gunn. And I say that because this entire movie felt exactly like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Now take that for what you will, but some people will see that as a good thing, much like in Superman movie. Some will look at that as a bad thing because it's like, oh, James Gunn just knows how to make Guardians of the Galaxy 5 and 6 and all of his other movies. You can tell that inspiration is in his movies, even in Suicide Squad. Now, I haven't watched Peacemaker, so I don't know, but we know by now what James Gunn's humor is, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot in this movie. Which, to be fair, I am fine with the humor in this movie because Kara is definitely a different character than Superman, and I'm okay with her being completely different from Superman. I don't want a copy-paste. I don't want her to have the same moral compass and the same attitude as Superman because it makes the character even more boring and not really that unique. Since the trailer starts off with her basically being a drunk and just kind of being careless, reckless, and all that stuff, I'm sure what's going to happen is she's going to be that way throughout the entire movie, and there's going to be a way to figure out like, oh, your true superhero self, try to find that moral compass that she is completely lacking. I would say it really didn't show too much of her powers, and again, this was a teaser trailer, so I didn't expect too much out of it. In fact, I saw more than I thought. You got a little glimpse of Lobo, Jason Momoa as Lobo, and that was cool, and I'm actually looking forward to that the most. Back to the James Gunn touch, I don't really mind the humor that he can put in his movies in this movie. I did mind when it came to Superman, and I thought it was a little hunky-dory, bubbly, whatever, and while that can be good for a Superman movie, I just feel like it didn't really hit the mark. Whereas in this movie, I feel like it can hit the mark, and I just don't want it to be a full James Gunn movie. Produced, fine. Directed, even though it's not, I feel like it's still going to be a very James Gunn movie. In fact, the entire trailer, it just screams Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, you got her even wearing the headphones like Star-Lord was wearing, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you couldn't have come up with a more original take on the character than just basically throwing her and making her like another Star-Lord? And don't get me wrong, there are going to be people that love that because they love Guardians, instead of saying, oh, no, we want something different. We want something a little newer than Guardians. We want something a little more Supergirl-esque. But no, there's a lot of them are going to just say, oh, well, it reminds me of Guardians. This is great. Okay. And to be fair, part of me is saying, okay, cool, it reminds me of Guardians, yay. But at the same time, it's like, oh, it's just another Guardians movie. Yay. Now, as far as the casting of Supergirl, I just know who Supergirl and Lobo are. I didn't really look into the rest of the cast. As far as Supergirl, the look, and at least in the Superman movie, I thought, okay, she's okay. Like, she kind of looks the part. You know, she's got the blonde hair and whatnot. But I'm not fully convinced yet of her as Supergirl. And I really hope that she can prove that she is Supergirl. We have seen many portrayals of Supergirl in series, Smallville, Supergirl series. So we kind of know what she should be based. I mean, you have different takes, but we know what she kind of should be as a character. So with this one, I don't mind a different take, but I just don't want a drastically different take to where it's like, okay, well, you look like Supergirl, but you don't act like Supergirl. And it looks like this Supergirl is just going to be a party, die hard, you know, living on life on the edge type of thing, when I don't know if she's going to be using her powers much, or at least in some cases, because there are times where it's like, okay, she should be more indestructible, and she's supposed to be more powerful than Superman in general, because she would be older, technically. I don't know what kind of timeline they're going to use, but I'm not really sure how they're going to take it to where, like, she gets drunk. Is it going to be some kind of alien beer that she's going to be drinking that can affect her, or is she's going to be wearing some kind of kryptonite ring that's going to allow her to get drunk? Because in the comic book, she actually did something like that. So that I'm actually a fan of, that they're, you know, staying faithful to that, but I'm curious how they're going to handle it. Look, I will say that I don't have a lot of faith in this movie. I had a lot of hopes for Superman, and it came out to kind of even for me. It didn't give me a lot of hope, or as much hope as I thought. It was a very different take from Man of Steel. So to have your second DC movie to be Supergirl and not like Batman, Wonder Woman, or one of the pillars of DC is very, I wouldn't say concerning, but it's like, okay, where are you going with this? Like, to me, you should be building up your pillars much kind of like Marvel did, even though you don't, obviously, they don't want to copy Marvel too much, but they are building a cinematic universe, so you might as well. But you want to build up your pillars first, and you started with Superman, so next would be Batman, you'd have Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, and that's basically it. But then you go from there and you start introducing characters in all these movies. I fear that James Gunn is just going to get a little bit ahead of himself and introduce a bunch of characters we don't know, we're not going to care about, and then make solo movies of those characters, and then they're going to wonder why it flopped. Kind of like what Marvel's been doing. We all know how that's going. Good luck Avengers Doomsday trailer. All in all, this was a teaser trailer, so they didn't really show too much, and there wasn't a lot to get hyped about. We got to see the world she lives in. We got to see what kind of character she's going to be. And I wouldn't say I'm excited for the actual character portrayal, but I can at least accept the kind of character she's going to be. And if it is very reminiscent of Star-Lord, it's going to be one of those, oh, I love it, or I hate it. I don't think there's going to be much in between. Does it look like a good movie? Don't know. Does it look like an okay movie? Yeah. Does it look like a bad movie, just based on this teaser trailer? Maybe. But who knows? I mean, Superman came out a little bit different, but there was a lot of hype for that one, and it's Superman after all. So, but all in all, this teaser trailer was just okay. It really didn't hype me up for anything, but it just kind of gave you a touch of what's gonna be. That about does it, guys. This is my reaction to the teaser trailer for Supergirl. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. What do you think? What do you think of the new Supergirl? And what do you think this movie needs to make a good story? And just give me your thoughts in general. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.